hello, and thank you very much for joining us. Welcome to episode, make sure I get this right, 25. Episode 25 of the Finish Line 2020. Thanks very much for joining me. And tonight I do have a question for y'all, and that is, what is the strangest music you've ever heard? I'm challenging people here to expand their musical horizons and embrace the weird music they can hear. So if you have something strange that you're either a fan of or have heard of at least, let me know in the chat and I'll share my weird music taste with you. My taste in music is probably weirder than yours. But we'll see. But for now, we're gonna get things started with the regular set list for you tonight. First song I'm gonna play for you is called Wind Song. I see you dancing there, but there's tension in your stare, as if the world is disturbing your peace, as if there's something deep inside you try so hard to hide, leaves you waiting to find your sweet release. Just come with me and I'll show you a place where the wind flows free. Let the warm air hit your face. There's no disgrace, breathe it in. And so we began in the corner of your home little room. It's like roses in bloom, but breathe it in. There's freedom in the basking in the wind. Just take a seat with me, let it run free. There is no shame, feel the tension ooze away. I still want you by my side. It makes you feel alive, feel the fragrance of creation as you stay. It's a love so fine, and now just let it flow from your depths into mine. I let the warm air hit your face. There's no disgrace, so breathe it in. And so we began in the corner of your own little room. It's like roses in bloom, but breathe it in. There's freedom in the basking in the wind. Once you're satisfied, just return to the dance and to the soundtrack of your life. So you know, if the tension ever grows, then come back here to find me and let the wind blow. Let the warm air hit your face. There's no disgrace, breathe it in. And so we began in the corner of your own little room. It's like roses in bloom, but breathe it in. There's freedom in the basking in the wind. There's freedom in the basking in the wind. All right, thanks very much. Let me know that you're out there. Let me know where you're coming from tonight, so we can have a nice conversation with each other during tonight's show. All right, this next song is called "Chasing Her Dream." All right. takes her post at the supermarket, where she's been working since her high school years. Time goes slowly as the patrons come and go by, the constant tone ringing in her ears. Late at night in the darkness of her childhood, after she closes the store, she lies awake with her wings tucked into her blanket, wondering if there's more. She's chasing her dream, wherever it may go, whatever it may be. She's chasing her dream, heaven only knows to what it will lead. She's chasing her dream, she's chasing her dream. She packs her bags and she takes off running. Her goal is the California sun. She meets up with some old friends who have somehow ended up there too. They all know what she had done. She takes her little Jackie by the hand. He says she'll be okay. She can't see past the smirk that is her own reflection. She drowns the pain away, chasing her dream, wherever it may go, whatever it may be. She's chasing her dream. Oh, his eye is on her as she spins around, but he doesn't stop her as she lays her weary soul down. She lays her weary soul down. In the coolness of a Texas winter, her face holds a mortal stare. She always said she would find herself or die trying. No, no, but it doesn't end there. Late at night as the rain pounds on my window under the city lights, a little bird spreads her wings for the first time. A sparrow takes her flight. She's chasing her dream, wherever it may go, whatever it may be. She's chasing her dream. Chasing her dream, she's chasing her dream. She's chasing her dream. All right, thanks again. Thanks again for joining me today. I thought I heard there was crackling in the sound feed here. I must have fixed itself. All right. Don't forget, today's question is, what is the strangest music you have ever heard? Leave your answer in the chat, and we'll talk a little bit about it. See if your taste in music is weirder than mine. I bet not. This is Think of Me. The good old days when life was big and wonderful, and love was just a silly game for two. We could run and play and spend our hours together, with no one else around but me and you. But I still see your silhouette beneath the fog of the window of the quarterback's car. My broken heart could only watch as he took you and branded you your first lover's scar. Now it's all these years later, and the quarterback's long gone. I'm still alone in this little house, but I'm singing our old song. Do you ever think of all the times we look up at the stars, or our evenings at the cafe watershed? Do you remember when we used to race out to the willow tree, or the endless nights just talking on your bed? Our youth and our simplicity. Do you ever think of me? But when he came along, he swept me off my feet. I should have known the trouble he would lead me in. We would talk for a little while, then he'd just sit back and smile. The sweet talker's words can crawl under my skin. Then one night I let it happen. I had known what I had done. Behind your back, right in front of you, we couldn't last too long. Do you ever think of all the times we look up at the stars, or our evenings at the cafe watershed? Do you remember when we used to race out to the willow tree, or the endless nights just talking on your bed? Our youth and our simplicity. Do you ever think of me? I can't count the times that I have said I'm sorry to you in my mind, but I never got the chance to say I love you. Just one time. Now it's all these years later, and the quarterback's long gone. I'm still alone in this little house, but I'm singing our old song. 'Cause I always think of all the times we look up at the stars, and our evenings at the cafe watershed. And I remember when we used to race out to the willow tree, and all the endless nights just talking on my bed. I love you and I miss you. I still think of you. Do you ever think of me? All right, that was "Think of Me" off my first record. Here's a song that's off of my latest. Let me tune this thing up properly. Once again, the question for tonight is, what is the strangest music you've ever heard? If you can pinpoint it, that is. Now, I have some pretty strange tastes in music myself, especially when I'm working. If I ever need like background music, I'll listen to some really weird stuff, the kind of stuff that'll give you nightmares if you don't prepare properly. I'm not going to be showcasing that music here on stream because that'll actually get my stream deleted from Facebook. YouTube, it'll be okay, but I'm streaming on both tonight. What's the answer here? Yoko. Oh yeah, that's pretty strange up there. And in fairness, that can give you nightmares if you listen to it excessively, I think. And I'll give my answer once I'm about halfway through or so with the show tonight. So this is called Ember. I can't sleep tonight. There's 1,000 fireflies. Tomorrow fears it might. Glowing yellow stain my eyes. It occurs to me, more so than I wish to say, the pain of which I sing, built up longer than today. There is still an ember, a flicker of a flame that made it through the worst falls, the desert storm and rain. Tomorrow I will try again, but tonight here I lay. I work through the day. In the moment I ignore, I collect my pay, but I won't return for more. With my inner strife on this filter system too, I can't live my life at a wall I can't break through. There is still an ember, a flicker of a flame that made it through the worst falls, the desert storm and rain. Tomorrow I will much I can take. There is still an ember, a flicker of a flame. Made it through the worst falls, the desert storm and rain. Tomorrow I will try again, but tonight here I lay. But I can't move tonight. All right, thanks again. I just thought of something about Yoko Ono being like the strangest music. It's probably the strangest music a lot of people have heard, other than like Frank Zappa or Billie Eilish, if you're a fan of today's music. But the thing about Yoko Ono is that she's a conceptual artist, which I do admire. I do admire that kind of. But the thing about her stuff is that it's not entirely clear what exactly she's trying to say. I remember a couple years ago she did like an acoustic performance at the Museum of Modern Art in New York City where she covered Katy Perry's Firework. And that's one of those songs that doesn't really say that much from like a depth perspective. And when she did it and she didn't really say any lyrics, it was like just mouth noises, pretty much. I didn't understand what exactly she was doing with it, other than just being that, you know. It's not clear what her message sort of is. It was John Lennon's was clear, but not Yoko's so much. I don't think. I don't think she's entirely on the same page as John Lennon was. All right, so moving on with the show, this is Build This City. Patterson on the bread box line. He lost his home on his own dime. She rules the bright light serenade with a child at her promenade. A theater man in the tightest jeans, a husband sick in bed asleep. From the ashes of pain and pity, come together, let's build this city. Innocence with charcoal skin, his brother shot by a blue man's tin. A mother trapped in a textile mill risks her hand for her mouths to fill. Concrete towers proud and tall, how many iron workers fall. From the ashes of pain and pity, come together, let's build this city. Sharps will call our country fortune's hand. Wake up to see just what they did. They ripped apart the prophet's tongue, and the murderer is free to run. The gambler hits the slope in stride, climbing up to the money's high. The working man is a beggar's kiss. God knows we are better than this. So from the ashes of pain and pity, come together, let's build this city. 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 All right, thanks again. All right, I'm going to switch up. I do have a prepared thing for this next tune, so give me a second. So, I would, what do we got here? Cecil Taylor and Sun Ra. That was some really strange stuff. Yeah, I know about Sun Ra a little bit, but I don't know Cecil Taylor. Again, I'll share mine with you after a couple more tunes. But for now, so I have the TV on behind me, and on the TV right now is actually a live stream. I think it might have just ended, actually, of a Black Lives Matter protest that's going on right now in New York City. They're holding a vigil to mourn the death of Casey Goodson Jr., who was a 23-year-old black man who was killed by a police officer last Friday in Columbus, Ohio. I've made clear my opinion on the Black Lives Matter movement over the years, and I did an entire scripted show about it on stream just a few months ago after the death of George Floyd. And as long as these murders by police keep happening, I'm not going to stop talking about it, and neither are the protesters on the TV behind me. They need change a lot more than we do. So, in between the lines of the tunes that I'm singing tonight, I'm dedicating this song to them. This is Baltimore. TV shows you an illusion. There's a darker side of town. I tremble at the thought of being next in line as the higher powers pound. The lucky ones sweat out the city jail. The others blaze a rosewood, brown and blood red trail. Baltimore, can you hear your children crying? Baltimore, can you hear the people singing? Let the revolution pass through Baltimore. J-Hill van skids through these poor man's streets. The just let them have their fun. His hands are tied, his body's loose against this floor and walls. That'll teach him not to run. Head to Great Bar and he's gone. Blue skies turn to gray as his soul passes on. Baltimore, can you hear your children crying? Baltimore, can you hear the people singing? Let the revolution pass through Baltimore. These martyrs leave their sidewalks wounded and stained. It's up to us to summon down the cleansing rain. The names are stapled to our chest. We won't stop till they can rest. Baltimore, can you hear children crying? Baltimore, can you hear the people singing? Baltimore, can you hear your country crying? Baltimore, can you hear the people singing? Let the revolution pass through Baltimore. Revolution pass through Baltimore. All right. So I think now's a good time to talk about some of the recommendations, some of the thing that you have, some of the suggestions that you have. Define strange music. Well, Joe, it's a matter of your perception of strange. We talked about Yoko Ono already. We talked a little bit about Sun Ra, because I don't know that much about him. And Diane brought up Cecil Taylor. Did some atonal piano work, very hard to listen to. And Boy George had his moments. Yeah, he kind of did. He certainly was there along that line. But I'll tell you a little bit about my strange taste in music. This is my first time ever really like sharing my strange taste in music. And I actually want to pull up a picture. I'm not going to play any of the music for you, but because that'll get my stream taken down on Facebook. But I can show you a picture and give you kind of an idea of who it is that I'm into. I just got to pull up a picture here of these weirdos. So the band that I am specifically talking about is a group called The Residents. They are, to call them strange would be like calling, I don't know, I can't think of I had one in my head and I didn't think to do anything, but I will, let me pull up a picture of these guys. This should give you a picture of how weird these guys are. Let me just blow this up a little bit on screen here. This here is, okay, here it is. This is one of the official band photos of The Residents. This is the one that I could find that was the least creepy. And all I can really say is their music matches their look in some strange way. If you've ever seen like an image in popular culture of like the big eyeball and the top hat and the nice suit and everything, this is where it comes from, this group. And these guys, they're not just like a band, they're like a conceptual art group that does, they like were like pioneers for music video back in the 70s, way back before, Bohemian Rhapsody, before MTV came out in the 80s. These guys were the first people doing like short films to tunes. And if you're susceptible to nightmares, I do not recommend looking up their music videos. Or their music, period, for that matter. The best way that I can describe it is like abstract music. Like how I make abstract art. These guys make abstract music. And it doesn't it very rarely follows any fixed chord progression, especially their early stuff. These guys have been around since the 70s. And they are completely anonymous. Nobody knows who they are. Even to this day, they are still making music, 40 years down the line. And I find their stuff like really weirdly interesting. I listen to their stuff when I'm doing artwork here in the studio. So that's my sorry about that. That's my weird taste in music, and if any of the weird stuff has any if any of the weird stuff like sounds like something you might have some sort of taste in, I would recommend broadening your horizons of the music you listen to and listening to strange music. But that's my group of choice. Another one that I really like is a group called Primus. They were very popular in the 90s alongside a lot of like funk metal bands like Faith No More and Red Hot Chili Peppers. But they're kind of in the same vein as the Residents. They make like very abstract music. They're a three-piece, guitar, bass, and drums. The bass player is a guy named Les Claypool. He's one of the greatest bass players in the world. And if you've ever seen the show South Park, he wrote and sang the theme tune for that show. But those are the two that I'm going to throw into the hat. So that's Primus, Primus, and The Residents. And no, I will not be playing either of their stuff because I can't. Because again, like I said, the bass player for Primus is completely nuts, especially with his right hand. He's insane. Yeah, I had a feeling that I would, but yeah, again, if your son liked Primus, yeah, they were a pretty interesting group, and they're still around, and they still have a pretty hefty following along with them. I think the thing, at least Cecil Taylor had a head instead of just one eye. And that's not even like their weirdest costume, The whole eyeball thing with the Residents is just like their most famous thing. It's the one that became like an icon for them. But yeah, their music is certainly strange to say the least. And if you ever do check them out, do so with extreme caution. What do I like about them? Yeah, it's hard to pinpoint since they're so strange. Oh, Devo is definitely qualifies. The members of Devo were actually featured in a documentary about the Residents. Apparently, they're like huge fans of them. So is Primus. But yeah, Devo is certainly there. They're not as weird as the Residents are, but especially since people don't consider them exceptionally weird because all they really know them for is Whip It. But a lot of their stuff, especially their early stuff, are incredibly weird. Devo had nice hats. Yeah, that's pretty much what people know Devo for. The hats and Whip It. That's pretty much all it is. But But I've heard some of the stuff they did. They've been around since like the early 70s, almost as long as the Residents have. But they didn't become big until the 80s with Whip It. But as far as what I like about them, like they're like real conceptual artists, and unlike Yoko Ono, they're not pretentious about it. Because again, they are completely anonymous. I don't even know if they're 4 people. They might just be one guy with session musicians that wear the masks along with them. You know, for all anybody knows about these guys. But they did a great cover of Satisfaction. You mean Rolling Stones Satisfaction? I Can't Get No Satisfaction? I haven't heard that, actually. I'm curious to see what that's like. Because knowing a little bit about Devo and the kind of stuff that they did, I'm definitely curious now. But the thing about the Residents, again, is they're very conceptual, they're very abstract, and they're not, like, crazy upfront about it. You know, their art, the art that they make, and they've made, like, 60 albums over the course of 40 years. And they just released a new one just a couple of months ago, and they're already announced another one on the way. The only person who makes albums quicker than the Residents are Dan Byrne. But with their stuff, you know, they're not upfront about this. Their art takes place before their fame, and I can't say the same about Yoko Ono, even though they're somewhat similar in concept to what they do. I feel like the fact that Yoko Ono is sort of a household name in certain circles has kind of hindered his Have the Vinyl in My Garage, Are We Not Men album. Oh yeah, I know that. I've heard that tune. I've heard that one. Are We Not Men? We Are Devo. And I think the decision for the Residents, in particular, to remain anonymous has helped them a lot be perceived more as artists than just some weird guy wearing an eyeball mask. But they've put out a lot of stuff that I do like. And again, I mostly listen to it when I'm working on artwork. It gets me in kind of like an abstract mood. And I don't know, it's interesting stuff for me. And again, I've rarely ever shared this with any other people because I'm kind of scared about how they would take it. A lot of people are really turned off by them. But they do have a following. I actually thought about going to see them in April, but then the pandemic hit, and that kind of squashed those plans. But nonetheless, enough with the strange music. If you have any other recommendations about strange music, I'm still curious to hear some more. I'm going to go straight into another new song for you. With this track. We'll come back to the music here. This is Orlando. My name is Orlando, I'm living on death row. This place is a steady flow of rain. If you can see me through, I'm writing this for you, so that I will not just die in vain. So I am a killer and once was a dealer, and there sits a lot of us in here. They threw us away when our guilt was proven, and now we await our fates with fear. anybody hear me? Is anybody listening? Will I be gone once this goes out? Will God ever forgive me? To kill me for the things I've done, despite my sorrow, prayers and shouts. A sliver of sunlight will shine like a spotlight. We stand together in our place. We're praising our children, we mourn our ambitions as we paint the smile upon our face. And God is a presence I feel in my senses whenever the silence rears its head. I ask for forgiveness from all I have wronged, as I fear that He'll simply strike me dead. Can anybody hear me? Is anybody listening? Will I be gone once this goes out? Will God ever forgive me? They'll kill me for the things I've done, despite my sorrow, prayers and shouts. For 20 years they did suspend, but now they're trying to kill again. They stand and scoff at my despair. I will cry, mercy please, I'll beg until I'm on my knees, but they won't listen, they won't care. Can anybody hear me? Is anybody listening? Will I be gone once this goes out? Will God ever forgive me? They'll kill me for the things I've done, despite my sorrow, prayers and shouts. My name is Orlando, I'm living on death row. This place is a steady flow of rain. If you can see me through, I'm writing this for you, so that I will not just die in vain. All right, thanks again. That was Orlando. This song is sounding. Thank you, Diane. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. I thoroughly enjoy playing that song still, and it is still relevant as well. Another person was executed today, and I think with the TV back here, I think the stream did actually end. So I'm actually going to turn this off, but keep that in mind as well as we go along and go our separate ways once this is over. I'm going to play 2 more songs for you. Thanks very much for the conversation today. And I hope you broaden your musical horizons to sharing some strange tunes, be it Yoko or Sun Ra or Devo or The Residents or Primus. Because the more we broaden our horizons on things like that, the better we are. We have an appreciation for the weird people in our lives. Especially if you can really see the art in what they do. Because a lot of these people who make strange music, they're not in it to be famous. They're in it because they see some value in what they make and what people like them make. And even if you look up the residents and it sounds like just noise to you, or any of the stuff like that, that's okay. Because, you know, that kind of music is not for everybody. But again, I will warn you one last time. If you check out the residents, do it with caution. Maybe not so much with Primus. They're not as like horror themed. They can be a little creepy at times, especially their music videos. But again, not as creepy. So I'll close out with these two songs for you, and then we'll call it a night. Thanks again very much for tuning in. The next live stream we're going to be doing is on Saturday, and that is going to be Patreon exclusive. So if you're not a member of Patreon and want to tune in, you can do so right up here, patreon.com/KyleHincherick. We start at just $1 a month. We go up to $20, depending on what you would like to get out of your membership. But Saturday's live stream is open to all my patrons, so. And there I'll be playing all of the songs that I'm writing currently for the next record. The songs are, for the most part, almost finished. All of the songs, the new songs I'm playing tonight, like Build This City in Orlando, they're probably going to be on there. I'm going to be playing those that night as well. As well as some stuff that I have not shared yet. So I hope you can tune in for that. So now we're going to close out with the finish line and then how you say goodbye. Thanks again very much for joining us, everybody. The money gives the orders high. Officials blind and pockets lined. They either don't see or they just don't care. Everybody knows their names. They run the race on that alone. The light turns green and they're halfway there. They pick the winner, 'cause nobody else really matters here. We're not gonna win the here and now. It's a different race we're here to run. Beyond the tape, then we spread out, basking in their fake fluorescent sun. Our gears begin to grind, just past the finish line. Once the celebration ends, the trophy's handed to the strong, and litter lines the decrepit streets. But that is where the work begins. Heroes work behind the scenes. Sweepers line as the cameras flee. Don't give the trouble of saying we don't really matter here. We're not gonna win the here and now. It's a different race we're here to run. Beyond the tape, then we spread out, basking in their fake fluorescent sun. Our gears begin to grind, just past the finish line. We are the cleaners, the drivers, street sweepers who clean up the guns. We are the rebels, the fighters, crusaders and fathers and mothers, and daughters and sons. We're not gonna win the here and now. It's a different race. We're not gonna win the here and now. It's a finish line. Yeah, just past the finish line. All right, thanks again. In case you're new here, thanks for tuning in. My name is Kyle Hancherek. I do these streams usually about 2 or 3 times a week for the finish line, and I'll be closing it out on December 30th of this year. If you want to check out places where you can also find me, I'm on YouTube. If you're joining on YouTube, I'm also on Facebook, and a whole bunch of other spots. If you're interested in supporting financially, once again, patreon.com/Kyle Hancherek. We start at $1 a month, or if you want to leave a one-time tip, you can go down to my PayPal page, paypal.me/Kyle Hancherek. Give as much as you please. If you don't, that's okay. I won't hold that against you, I promise. Anyway, I'll close out with this tune. This is How You Say Goodbye. Bases are loaded. I bow down to the floor. A single shot on this green plot is all I'm asking for. September is faded. No room for wanting more. My sad goodbye that's spoken through this stadium ensures. The temple is floating. The cheers sound much too good. The backyard sales of tallest tales is far too understood. I'm taking my chances with a slightly crooked grin and a fire in my eyes in a timely telling sin. If the pitch comes in over the plate, just the right speed and perfectly straight, the swing of the bat and it cracks and the crowd goes wild. It's a long line drive to dead center field. It's over the wall and the legacy's sealed. And that, my friends, is how you say goodbye. So many moments, but none to save the day. I never had that chance, but that's the price I had to pay. But now I am grounded. The fans ignite the flame, and the lightning says straight road ahead to glory and to fame. When the pitch comes in over the plate, just the right speed and perfectly straight, swing of the bat and it cracks and the crowd goes wild. It's a long line drive to dead center field. It's over the wall and the legacy's sealed. That, my friends, is how you say goodbye. Oh, this face looks better than a morning glory bloom, but I'm struck out way more times. You can fit in this old room, but as I turn to leave, I'll find a strength I'll never tell. So I'm climbing up, down escalator for one last kiss, farewell. And the pitch comes in over the plate, just the right speed and perfectly straight. A swing of the bat and it cracks and the crowd goes wild. It's a long line drive to dead center field. It's over the wall and the legacy's sealed. And that, my friends, is how you say goodbye. Oh, and that, my friends, is how I said goodbye. All right. Thanks very, very, very much. I'm glad you could join me for tonight. I appreciate giving me your time and your opinions on strange music again. And once again, I encourage people to check out as much weird music as they can, show an appreciation for the more weird side of the arts. because there's a lot of people like that out there. But I appreciate your stuff, and one more time, the next stream is going to be a Patreon exclusive stream on Saturday. Check out my Patreon page over here. We start at $1 a month. I hope you can join me for that. I'm playing all the tunes that I'm writing for the next record. I appreciate your time tonight. Thanks very much, Loretta. But I've been on for over an hour now, so I'm gonna close up shop. Thanks again very, very much for tuning in. I hope to see you again soon. The next public live stream I'm going to be doing, I should mention, is going to be on Tuesday. Tuesday the 15th. Tuesday the 15th is going to be the next public live stream I'm doing. If you're a patron, I hope to see you on Saturday. If you're not, that's okay. I hope to see you on Tuesday. Thanks very much for tuning in, everybody. Peace and love, you guys.